Welcome to another LEGO Build Series video. Today I'm going to be recreating a scene from the Wangan Midnight anime, specifically designed to fit on an empty shelf space I have. So let's get started. I want this project to be fairly easy for a viewer to recreate, so I'm going to be using ready-made projects that are available on rebrickable.com as basis for my models. Once I've selected the models, I'm going to go down to Inventory, and I am going to export a parts list in a brick XML file that I can export to Bricklink. Just going to copy and paste the data here, and I'll paste it into a new wanted list I'll create on Bricklink. From there, I can either buy the parts directly from Bricklink, but I'm going to download this wanted list and I'm going to upload it to WeBrick. It's basically like a Bricklink, but I can get the parts much cheaper. So I'm going to select price priority mode, and I'm going to select that file I've created, and it will upload a list of available parts. Once it's done thinking, it will show me a list of available parts as well as a list of out-of-stock parts, and I can take that out-of-stock list, export that as an XML file, and buy the remaining missing bricks from bricklink.com. After a few days, the new parts will show up, and I'll get busy sorting these out. So since there's going to be a ton of parts, you want to make sure you definitely take your time to sort things out, because it will make your build process much easier. So first things first, I'm going to start by building the road. I'm going to use a selection of bricks to create a 9-stud wide road base, and I'm going to use plates to make the road markings that will divide the lanes as well as separate out the edges. Since this is a multi-lane freeway, I'll have to repeat this process several more times, but I'll do this off camera to save some time. After that, I'll work on building a frame that will house the roadway. It'll just make a nice little way to frame the road in, and we'll make a nice base for our light fixtures. So once everything is built, it'll get encased in the frame. From there, we'll start focusing on smaller details, like adding an overhead directional sign and some of these street lamps. Once they're done, I'll just pop them into place and repeat the process until I have as many lamps as I need, and then I'll add a few more details like barriers and some tiles to finish it out. Next up, it's time to add the hero cars to our display. I've chosen 4 what I consider to be the main character cars from the series, and I'll use the instructions from rebrickable.com to build the basis for all these vehicles. And now it's time for some fine details to add to these cars, like these custom resin printed wheels. The link for these will be in the description. I want to add a few extra details to these already fantastic rims, so I'm going to start with some gold accent paint. So I'll take the rims that I want, and I will grab a fine tip brush, and then I'll just start painting that gold center of those wheels, just for some extra detail, being careful not to add too much paint. That way I can avoid any paint buildup in between the spokes, so just a couple light coats, and it will really transform the look of these wheels, as you'll see. Got a nice gold finish in between the silver rim. Next up, we're going to be making a few more color changes, this time using spray paint as a method. First up, I've got a set of 3D printed wheels and some mirrors. I'm going to be painting silver, so I'm going to test spray an area first and then add a few light coats, making sure I go past the edges of each of the pieces using a quick spraying motion, and I'll do this to the other side once it dries. And then I'm going to be adding a blue color to the S30Z. The blue Lego color wasn't exactly dark enough for what I wanted, so using some spray paint, I'm going to mask off the areas of the car that I don't want to get hit with the paint, and I will apply a few layers of this metallic blue paint. Once a couple layers have been added, you can see the difference in between the plastic molded part and the color I've shot. It's got a nice little bit of a darker hue to it. And there you go. You can see all 4 models are now built and ready to go with their custom wheels. I think they turned out pretty good. So now we're going to be making a few additional models to serve as traffic pieces. The links to these will also be in the description below. You can find these on rebrickable.com as well. We also need some custom minifigures to represent the different characters in the anime. So for this, I'm going to go over to firestartoys.com and use their great selection of minifigure pieces to build the characters the way I want. And after that, I'm going to start by making some custom decals. So first up is going to be the road markings. For this, I used a vinyl cutter, and I just cut them out of white vinyl and then laid them on the road the way I want. As you can see here, I've got 3 lane markings now. And then for some finishing details, I made up some custom decals in Illustrator, and I had them printed off on a Vistaprint bumper sticker template. And once I get these applied, everything should be ready for staging. Once all the stickers are applied, I'll reassemble and restage this collection on the shelf, and this project will be finished. There you have it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the links below if you want to try and recreate this yourselves.